Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the flight deck for the final flight of our contiguous U.S. state tour. This is the 50th flight we are making as we've covered all 48 states in the continental U.S. And today we are flying from Richmond, Virginia over to Charleston in Western Virginia. Should be a good flight. A little bit windy, but shouldn't see any storms or anything on the way as we had coming into Richmond yesterday. So let's get the aircraft up and ready to go. So safety checks being done. Parking brake is set. Throttle levers are at flight idle. Control lock is engaged. Condition levers are in fuel shut off. Flaps are up and indicating up. Wipers are off, circuit breakers are all checked, weather radar is in up, and oxygen quantity and masks have been checked. Let's move up to the overhead and we will start powering up the aircraft. So master control panel, battery, AC generator, and DC generator are on. Left and right batteries coming on. DC external power is now connected. DC generators 1 through 4 are on. Bus tie is closed. And volts and load are checked. Popping right up top. Flight data recorder is normal. ELT is on. We will turn the lights on here. There we go. That is set. Our engine T handles are pushed in and the smoke and fire warning tests have been done. Moving down to the main panel. Windshield wipers and heat are off. Airframe de-icing is off. Pitot-static heaters are off. Propeller de-icing is off. Battery temperatures are rising. Position light is on. Engine ignition is set to normal for all 4 engines. Auxiliary fuel pump are off on all 4 engines. Fuel transfer is off. Valves are closed. Start selector and start switch are both off. Cabin is pressurization is set to auto. AC external power is off. The inverter selector is set to left bus. AC generators 1 through 4 are off. Engine bleeds 1 through 4 are off. Air conditioning system is set to auto. System is turned on. Fasten seat belts, no smoking, and emergency lights are all now armed. So we can get the passengers on board. We have 50 passengers today for this, the last flight over to West Virginia. So the clocks are both the same. It is 15:33 local time. Flight taxi switches and taxi GPWS is checked. Yaw damper is normal and guarded. Flight directors on. Everything looks good. Turn them off. Landing and taxi lights are all off. PFCS switches are in the normal position with the lights off. Autopilot set to captain. Caution and advisory lights. Caution lights coming on. Look good, and advisories are all looking good there as well. Circuit phase does not work, and anti-skid is now on. Coming out of my side, steering is off. Stall and overspeed warning tests are done. We'll bring the lights up. Get rid of the yoke. Flight instrument check is done, and altimeters. So pulling up the latest METAR. We could take a look. Just get all the information here. I'll throw it into the chat. Winds are 290 at 7, gusting 15. We're going to be taking off on runway 34. 10 miles of visibility, broken cloud at 6,000, broken cloud at 8,000. 28 degrees currently, and 2988 is the current barrel. That METAR is 40 minutes old, so we might get another one before we depart, but we'll go 2988. There. And we'll set Rogers as he's out on the walk around. There we go. It's all set. DME is coming on. We will turn me to DME 1 and Rogers will come on as well. Compass is set to slave. Hydraulic fuel, fluid levels are correct, and we have pressure in the parking brake. No ATC where we are. We are going up to 12,000 feet for today's flight. So we will dial in 12,000 feet. And we'll be climbing straight up there as we depart. There is 12,000 feet. Prop auto feather is off. Engine intake deflectors are closed. Engine instruments are all checked and looking good. Landing gear mute horn test is checked and tested. Pitch and roll disconnect handles are pushed in and good. Weather radar is up in this aircraft. Transponder, we did get an auto ATC code for transponder 6212. So we will dial that in now. Let's come on. 6212 is set. For comms, the CTAF frequency for the airport here.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight.
CTAF is 121.1.
Be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in the front row, please
so we'll get
place
that dialed down.
in the overhead bins. If you have any trouble finding a location for your carry-on items, please let a flight attendant know and we would be happy to assist you.
There we go. 121.1 is now set. We're going to go 122.8 for Unicom above 10,000 feet and 121.5 for the guard channel monitoring.
If you are seated in an
there we go. So that is all set. For
For
navigation, we're going to be flying outbound on the Richmond VOR.
If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that we can
that is going to be a frequency of 114.1.
We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you.
That is set. Aboard. The next one is the Mole VOR, which is 1153. That's now set, and we will dial that over here, 1153. The last one is going to be the Charleston VOR that we're for the airport we're flying into, and that is 117.4. So we'll get that one dialed in on standby over here on number 2, and that is good. 3 VORs for today's flight, not including the ILS for landing. So the initial heading that we're going to be flying outbound will be 297 degrees. So we'll dial that in. We'll go this way. .297 and runway heading is going to be 337. So we'll get our heading over as well to right about there. So that's set. So nav radios are all dialed in. We will switch them over to VOR mode now, and we are good to carry on. So flight instruments over here on Roger's side, roll spoiler switch and avionics cooling checked. We'll get the lights up for him as well. Parking brake is in park. Throttle levers are flight idle. Control lock is engaged. Fuel condition levers are in shut off. Flaps are 0, indicating 0. Flight idle gate is closed. Light is on. Autopilot and yaw damper are off, and the aircraft is trimmed for takeoff. At this point, we would contact ATC for our clearance, which we're going to take as self-cleared, and we will get pushed into start as well. So once everybody is on board, we can close the doors and get ready to carry on. Quick look outside. We're going to be taxiing off in this direction. The end of the runway is in fact over there. So we're going to go down and across and then down and over. So when we push out of here, we're going to push out, we're going to go tail. We're probably just going to push back 100 yards and then we'll swing around.
We're ready to go when you are.
That's everybody ready in the back. So we'll come to the back door, get her closed up, and we can start doing our pre-engine
Good afternoon,
checklist. So take off that and speeds have been checked, doors and windows are closed, anti-collision light is going to
Our flight
red.
time will be roughly 1 hour.
Park and brake is on,
and
power
8 minutes.
levers
Now
are
that
in
the cabin
flight
door is
idle.
closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode
Condition
and your
levers
large
are
devices
fuel
now
shut
shut
off.
down and stowed.
All
Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that
four
all
DC
tray tables
generators
and seat backs are in
are
full upright and locked
confirmed
position
on,
for departure.
and
Cabin crew,
we
secure
are
doors for
good
departure.
to call for the pushback. So we'll request our push.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
So we should get some good views. While we're waiting for them to hook up, I'll bring up the map. Here you can see we are down here just outside of Richmond. We're going to overfly Richmond itself. Heading to the west, we'll be crossing over the mountains here. This is part of the Appalachian Mountains. And then coming down into
Departure check
Richmond,
completed.
Virginia, which is
Bypass
located
pin
right here.
inserted.
Given the winds and everything, we'll be landing to the southwest, so we'll probably be diverting over and picking up the ILS to bring us in. That is the flight plan for today. We are looking at a flight time of approximately 1 hour 10 minutes, and we will be covering
Locking
about
gear.
236 miles. So as soon as they have us hooked up, we will disconnect the external power and then the parking brake. And again, we're just going to do a straight push.
Release parking brakes.
All right, we're going to come up. External power is now off. Parking brakes are disconnected.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
See our DC load is dropped. We're down on battery power. And we're good to start. So starting engine number 3. And we are clear. You can hear engine 3 starting to spin up. And adding fuel.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
And there we go, engine 3 starting to rotate. If you're hearing any banging, just somebody doing some work around my place.
Behind you.
Alright,
If
we got a
need
good
to
start.
evacuate the aircraft, floor level
Start her
lighting
off,
will guide you
switching over to
towards the
engine
exit.
4.
In the event of a decompression,
Cranking
an
4.
oxygen mask will drop in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps
Alright,
if
starting
necessary,
4.
and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it is safe to release.
Set parking brakes.
In the
Parking
unlikely
brakes are
event of
set.
a water landing, a
Waiting
life
Good
vest
start
will
on
be
engine
raised
4.
under
Engine
the
start.
Start her off,
armrest.
switching over to
When
engine 2.
instructed to do so, open the
Starting
plastic
2.
pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the strap to tighten. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on
Adding
the red
fuel.
cord only when exiting the aircraft. If it does,
There goes engine 2.
make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray
There's
tables are in full
70%.
upright position. We
We're
remind you
off.
that this is a non
Starting engine number 1.
Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the
Adding
laboratory
fuel.
is prohibited by law. All of this information and more
Molly.
is found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. We suggest reading this and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us.
While
and we
she
hope you
warms up,
enjoy your
I'm
flight.
just going to check on something. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. We got a good start on engine 1, and start switch is now off. So after start check, start selector is going to the off position. DC external power is confirmed off. DC volts and load are good. We're on generator 4 for monitoring. Battery temperature is looking good. AC generators 1 through 4 are now coming online. Engine bleeds 1 through 4 are now coming online. And down to the main panel, flight directors coming on. PFCF's lights are normal. Prop auto feather is still green. Engine intake deflectors are closed. Engine instruments are temperatures and pressures are looking good. Hydraulic quantities and pressures are good. Weather radar is on up. Flaps 15 for takeoff and in transit. Flight control check. Full forward, full back, left, right, and there is our pedals. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. Yaw damper is now on. De-icing pressure is checked and fine. Ground equipment is all moved. Engines 1 and 4 going to maximum RPM. We will confirm
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
So we're doing good there. Yeah, I think you're picking up the sound of the work going on. It's actually above me, in the unit above me, so not much we can do with that. Hopefully it's not too distracting. Oh, there they are, undoing the pin. So for taxi, we're going to loop around. We're going to head south. We're going to go across Echo, crossing runway 2. And we'll take Echo all the way to Lima and then turn right in Lima down to 34. There goes the truck. Everyone's good in the back.
Disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Close the door. Never do that. Didn't know that actually
Left is
moved.
clear. Right is clear.
So door's closed. Left is clear. Right is clear. They're disconnecting the microphone from the aircraft. And they are going to head out where I can see them visually. Oh, she's on that side. I don't know why you would go to that side, but
Ready to go.
there she is over there. She gave us the pin. We got the wave, and we are good to taxi. Alright, so we're going to bring the power back slightly. Manual brakes. Emergency brakes are released. Wait till she gets out of the way. There we go. And we're going to taxi out. Richmond area traffic, Allegheny 32, taxiing from the gate to runway 34 via Alpha Echo, crossing runway 02 Echo Lima to runway 34. Alright, so we're on the CTAF frequency on VATSIM. We do have ATC up in our destination. Indianapolis Center is up, so we if they stay up, we'll get them as we're coming into West Virginia. Coming up to Echo here. I know it says Alpha, but this is default airport. Markings, which are not necessarily correct. Quick look, both directions, we're good. We're the only aircraft in and out on the board here on VATSIM. And First Officer Molly's joined me in the cockpit. Hi, Molly. You go lie down? We'll get you a treat later once we're up in cruise, okay? We had a lovely walk after the rains here last night when she got some nice smells and everything. She's now looking for some attention. So once again, this is the last of the legs for this series. Once we land, that's it. The de Havilland Dash-7 will get parked away. We are back Friday at 1930 Zulu. Multiplayer, Northern Europe server. Starting in Mackinac Island, we will be doing the helicopter. Well, I'll be flying it in a helicopter, but we're doing a tour of the Great Lakes. We're going to basically circle the Great Lakes. So if you want to come along, you are more than welcome to. Information will be posted on the Discord. There's a link in the description. And anything that flies at around 150 knots or so is good, and can get into some of the smaller airports we'll be flying into. And basically we're going to hop from airport to airport. Depending on the distance between airports is how many legs we'll be doing. I have no idea what this runway is. It is not on my chart. But it will be up to 3 or 4 legs. It could be as short as just 1, depending on the distance we have to go. But again, we're going to be circumnavigating the lakes, so we will be kind of flying along the coastline as we cruise around. Alright, so down here at the far end where those light poles are, we're just starting to make them out. That's the Virginia Army National Guard base. I'm assuming they would be flying helicopters out of there. Alright, we are almost down here now, and we'll get ourselves nicely set up at the hold line. I think Molly's a little anxious because she's hearing that noise and doesn't know where it's coming from. Alright, so here's the hold line for runway 34. We're going to bring her to a stop. There we go. Alright, so with the brakes set, we're going to make sure the engines are in flight idle. Windshield heat coming up to warm up, pitot-static heaters coming on, all 5 of them. Engine bleeds are in low, ignition is all in normal, auxiliary fuel pumps 1 through 4 are on. Flight taxi spoiler switch is going to flight mode. Auto feather is cell green, engine intake deflectors are closed, control locks are off. Condition levers, we're bringing up engines 2 and 3 now to maximum RPM. Flaps set 15 for takeoff. Flight controls are checked, elevator trim is checked. Caution lights are good. And the cabin, we will give a final ding. Make sure they are ready to go. ATC is still offline. So we're going to set up. So transponder, we will turn on. And make sure it is in mode C. There it is. Transponder mode C, weather radar is inoperable. Landing lights are on. Oops, should have had my taxi light on. That I did. Anti-collision light will go to white, and strobe lights are on. Richmond area traffic, Allegheny 32, taking position, runway 32. Correction, 34. Alright, runway 34. We're going to roll out here. We're 0.8 miles away from the, 0.8 miles away from the VOR. It's located on the field, so we should pick up our outbound course pretty quickly once we are up and going. Alright, brakes are set. All 4 condition levers are at maximum RPM. Intake deflectors are all closed. Power levers coming up to 32 inches. Ground spoilers are closed. Auto feather armed. Richmond area traffic, Allegheny 32, rolling runway 34, departure to the west. Takeoff power set, airspeed's alive. 70 knots. It's 90 knots, bit of a left crosswind, nose up. Up we go, positive rate, gear up. Adding some trim, get her nice and stable. Autopilot is on, indicated airspeed and heading. We've overflown the VOR, that's fine. At 1,000 feet, we'll make the turn to pick it up. There's 500 feet, so flaps coming up. And we'll go into our power settings. So, engines back below 4,000. Props coming back to 107. And engines back to 4,400 or above. There we go. We're set, there's 1,000 feet. We're going to make our turn to intercept the course. As we climb out. So cruise power set, landing gear is retracted. Flaps are confirmed up. Engine intake deflectors are closed. Flight idle gate is in and light is out. Taxi light is off. Ignition's normal. Auxiliary fuel pumps will come off now. Engine bleeds are in low. Cabin is pressurizing or depressurizing technically. And we're good. Town of Richmond ahead. Airport's on the east side of the town. A little bit windy. Wait for the bar to come in. She's starting to come in, so we'll begin to turn and into nav mode. We'll pick up the radial and head out, flying over top of downtown Richmond. As you can see out the windows. Looking good. Can't see anything in that view. There we are. There's the river running through the town. There's it spread out, and there's the airport behind us. So we're off westward, heading off towards West Virginia. It'll be a little bit longer flight today. We're flying into the wind. First time we've done that in a while on this series, since we left California, flying westward again. Let's just fine-tune the engines here. It's all looking good. They're a little finicky. Not as bad as they were, but a little bit. Alright, so we've passed the halfway point through 6,000 feet. Things are looking very nice out there. So it's 88 miles between the airport and the next VOR, and the next VOR is a low power one, so somewhere around the 40 mile range we should pick up on it. We are on a high power one coming off of Richmond, so we'll be able to ride that out no problem, especially as we are still climbing. So at 12,000 feet, once we come level, we're going to want a power setting of 410 pounds of fuel per hour per engine. And we'll set that in 4,000 feet. So altitude select is on, so we capture the altitude. And then once we get level, I'll take a look at the winds and see what type of headwinds we're facing here for today's flight, and we'll be able to pick up the ground speed as we fly away from Richmond. Indianapolis is still up. He's been up for almost 5 hours. The airport we're going to in West Virginia is a little bit inside his control zone, about 40 miles, so we'll still see if he's still up when we get there. There's 10,000 feet. Landing lights can come off. We can release the passengers in the back.
Gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet, so you may turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the lavatory.
1,500 feet to go.
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign.
And
You
we're
can now
going to
get
switch
everything
over
around the
to
cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when seated in
the
case
general
of turbulence.
frequency for Unicom. Smalley heard something outside. Hey, Molly, come here. Come here. Lie down. There's capture mode. Lie down. Molly? Come on. She is a good guard dog. I don't know what's turned her into that. Alright, we're coming level at 12,000 feet. Molly, come here. Hey. Let's get the power set. So we're already down to 107 on the engines. We'll come down, take a look at our fuel flow. We want 410, so we're going to push forward. And that's as close as we can get, about 395. So we're at full power, cruising along. We'll see what our airspeed ends up settling in at. While we do that, I'm just going to bring up the weather and look at the winds. Little spots of rain here and there in those clouds. We'll see what we end up with. At 14,000 feet, we're looking at winds of about 35 knots, almost head on. At 10,000 feet, winds are about 20, so about 25, 30 knot headwinds is what we're looking at here. And if we look down, our indicated airspeed is
note that we only accept
Pretty close to our ground speed, so we're not getting a push or anything. So it's pretty neutral. But it's time to sit back, relax. We're heading up to the next VOR. We are about 66 miles away from it at the moment. As I said, in about another 30 miles it should come in and we can pick it up. And that is the Montebello VOR. I get low power, so it'll take a little bit closer before it comes in. I'm going to get Molly a little treat and I will be right back. Alright, she's settled in on her daybed with that, so we'll see how she does. Hey, Kevin. So we should get some good views of the Appalachian Blue Ridge Mountain line that runs down through this area. It's a beautiful place. I've been there a few times, driving and on the bike. Lovely scenery. I'm going to tune in Indianapolis Center just in case he's still up when we do get there. So that's going to be 11955. So we'll do a little bit of a zoom in here. 11955. Should be that one. And there we go. So we do got a decent ground speed, 219 knots. So we have a slight push, but we are facing some headwinds, so we're not picking up that usual 230, 240 that we've had in the past. It looks like we're up at cloud level too, so we could be in and out of some clouds. Kevin, hope you're well. Thanks for coming by for the final flight of the series. So our ETA is about 45 minutes. We'll see how we do. Yeah, not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Still prepping for when I go away in July, so I've been recording some videos and stuff. Still doing that to make sure that one, I've got enough to cover, and two, that I can make sure I cover the time with the VA that I'm going to be away, so that I fly within their time restriction, time limit thingies that they set up on how often you have to fly. But I've been busy. How's things with you? You back into the swing of it after your little weekend vacation away? So there's another little sim update today. Short one, didn't take long to do. I noticed in the content manager was a bunch of the European updates being updated. We'll see how that goes. The big update 15 fixed the Windows or windowed view mode thing that it was stuck on. We'll see if this kicked it back to that or not, if it still works when I reboot. Because I'm going to record another flight tonight, probably. But yeah, we're doing good. Everything is looking good here as we're cruising along. Yeah, it's a minimum 30 days. I mean, you can ask, you can tell them, hey, I'm going to be away for a while and stuff, but you got to give them notice to let them know that, you know, for 2 months I'm going to be away. I'll be able to work it out where I can hop a quick flight. Like there are some 15-minute caravan flights I can do. So I can just hop on, do it, hop off, and I'm good for 30 days, so we'll see. Problem is, in between some of the trips in June and July, I've got I got family coming to stay with me, so I won't be able to stream when they're here, so it's going to be a bit of a long period where I'm going to be away from the streaming. Not too much. I'm going to try to get 1 or 2 in on days between where we're good there and then I go away again. But I just finalized, I don't know if I told you, I finalized everything for Norway at the end of July, so that's all done. And then I got to start working on the next one in September. Yeah, well, they all operate differently and they do different things, so it's good to see. Oh, there we go. The next VOR has just come in. See, it's 45 miles away. So what we're going to do is we're going to center our heading bug. We'll switch into heading mode. I'm going to switch over to the next VOR on both. Oh, can't do it from there. That's hitbox is in the way. And we're going to go 1174 in that one. And now we're going to switch back over the 297 radio. That's what we are wanting to be on, but we're a little off because we were flying outbound from the other one. So we'll dial in there, back into nav mode, and then we'll get going. Very nice. So we'll get lined up there. There we go, 40 miles to the next one as we go cruising inbound. And as you can see, we're starting to run into a little bit of the clouds here, which is fine. So if you ever get the chance to do, there's 2 roads, main roads down through this area, which are absolutely phenomenal. If you have the time, and you don't mind taking a couple extra days, and you're in this area down through the Virginia, Carolinas and stuff, avoid the highways, the interstates. In the north, you want it's a one-day trip. It's the what the hell is it called? The Skyway, something Skyway. Let me see if I can look it up. Or is it Parkway? Skyline Drive. It's 105 miles, and a big part of it is a national park. So you come down there, you start up into the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. After that, you can get onto the Blue Ridge Parkway, and that travels down the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it basically dumps you out. You get on in Virginia, and you end up coming out. I think it's South Carolina. Let me see. It's 400 and something miles long. Sorry, it ends in North Carolina. 754 kilometers. Uh, 469 miles long, and basically what it does is it runs the spine of the mountain, so you're up on top, which is really, really cool. And there's places where on either side of the road it's basically dropping off down the edges of the mountains on both sides. Not huge mountains like the Alps or anything, but we're gonna fly over it, so you'll see. And there's all kinds of cool places up there, and if you want to go down to the towns, you got to go down these twisty roads that go off the top of the down into the valleys where the towns are, and it's a motorcycle dream. And you can see we're coming up to it here, starting to see some of the mountains form. And these are the mountains, they stretch all the way up along, they turn into the Appalachians. You end up in the Green Mountains up in Vermont. And all that is phenomenal bike riding country, and located in this whole area, some very famous areas such as the Shenandoah Valley, which was huge during the U.S. Civil War, if you know that part of history, and all that kind of stuff. So it is actually pretty good. The VOR we're heading to is actually sitting on top of one of these hills. I think it's on this ridge here. But yeah, it's an absolutely gorgeous place, and I actually was down cleaning up the bike. It's going in for a service. I didn't ride it last year at all for a variety of reasons, but I'm going to get back on it this year, and not next year, but the year after, I may do a rundown on the Blue Ridge Parkway. I haven't been down there in a while. I rode my last bike down there, but that would have been a long time ago, like 2008, 2009, something like that. I rode down there. You just see how gorgeous it is. If you're into the music from here, the bluegrass type of folk music and stuff, the Bluegrass Music Center's up here, and a lot of the times they'll have people playing free little concerts and stuff. It's pretty cool to listen to. The VOR is here, and then there's a little depression, then we come up into the bigger hills on the other side. I can't see them because of the clouds, but they're coming. Definitely coming up. I'm going to dial over here, get our heading indicator set, because when we get down about 10 miles, we're going to get ready to switch over. 15 miles to go. This is the short leg. The next one's 129, but that takes us right to the airport. More or less, it's the last VOR we'll be going in on. ATC is still up. Guy's got staying power. Five hours, 12 minutes. Doesn't say how long he's going to be going. Anyway, it's been fun flying VORs with this thing. No GPS on board. Just doing VOR navigation. We'll be doing the same thing when we get to the DC6 series later on, but we'll have a GPS on board to assist with that, especially with the autopilot. Yeah, it's there are a couple. I've seen it a couple times, and I don't know if it's the same guy or if there's a couple guys in the States that do it. But I've seen 4 or 5 hour centers, and that's tough because centers are busy. They got such a big area, multiple airports, and all that stuff. I've seen a couple like smaller airport towers and stuff go up for a few hours, you know, because they could sit for an hour and a half and have nothing, right? But centers, yeah, that's busy work there. Just gotta see where I cross into his zone. Yeah, just as we come over the other side of the mountains, we'll be picking up, we should be switching over to him. Anyway, we're 4 miles out. We're going to switch into heading mode now. We're not picking up the next VOR yet. Still maybe a tad far out for it. There's that valley between the ridges I was talking about. And then you can see all the little lines here as we work up to the next big set of the mountains going down. So once we hit the VOR, we'll go to 292 degrees. That should take us pretty much out towards where we want to go. There's the swing, so 292. She's coming back online. We're going to fly out the Mall VOR. There she is. She's picking it up now. Once we hit 2 miles, we'll go on to nav mode. There we go. 2 miles out, we'll go nav, we'll pick up that outbound VOR. And we'll be good there. Alright, since we've crossed over, let's take a look at the current forecast weather. We do have an update. Runway 23 looks like it's going to be the active runway, and we are set up for runway 23. It's the only one. Looks like they used to have a little grass strip or something, but it's no longer in use, so it's one runway. 6,700 feet. Terminal's at the far end on the left. We'll just grab the current METAR, throw it into the chat. Winds are 2609, gusting 15. 10 miles of visibility, broken cloud at 7,000 feet, 26 degrees, 2.9er 2, so we'll get that dialed in. Not a big pressure difference. Actually, we're going back up to standard pressure. It's 2.9er 2 set across the board. Alright, we're tracking in, and we've just picked up the VOR. Now the VOR is located about 8 miles to the west of the airport, and we're going to be diverting before then, heading a bit more northwards to pick up the ILS. So we can switch over now. So we'll get our heading bug back online, over to heading mode. 2.9er 3 will stay. We are going to switch over. There we go. And we will just dial in the radial we're on and click on nav. And there we go. So the ILS platform altitude is 2,400 feet. That means we want to descend down roughly 10,000 feet. So that's going to be 5 times 3 of 15 plus 10. That's 25. I add 5, another 5. That's 30 miles out. We're going to start our descent, and then we will adjust from there. And that should put us right around crossing the border, or just after crossing the border into Indianapolis Center's airspace. And we'll see how that goes. But I'll show you what we are planning. So Kevin, did you notice that SimBrief now does takeoff and landing performance charts for distance and all that stuff? Alright, so there's the chart. You can see us coming up here. We're going to come over the mountains here. This line that we have, there's the mountains. We're coming up this way. This line here is where the control zone for ATC is. And then just after that, we'll be starting down. Then we're going to turn more northwards and head up this way so we can come around at Jigsaw for the ILS and come in. The VOR is actually past the airport about there. It's about 8 miles past. These are the mountains we'll be coming through. And that's where we are headed. Yeah, it's good if you don't have any type of calculator for any of the aircraft, or it recognizes it. It can do a quick and dirty estimate. Oh, Atlanta just came online, which is nice. 5 hours and 20 minutes for Indianapolis. A bunch of ATC popping up. Houston's on board. Merida. Kingston down in Jamaica is online. Fort Worth is up. Not sure how long Indianapolis is going to be up. We will see. So ground speed 218 knots. We're not doing too bad. Again, beautiful driving area, very friendly people, lovely little towns and communities. And I'll date myself here, but on one of these trips to North Carolina, we came down off the place into a little town called Mount Airy. And that is the basis of the town for the Andy Griffith Show that was popular in the 50s. That Ron Howard starred in as a 7 or 8 year old kid, as Opie, what was his name, Opie? Can't remember the last name they used. It's kind of his first major TV role on the Andy Griffith Show. But that's the town that it was based on. It's pretty cool. But this whole area here, come over and look, And you can see all the ridging this way. This is all caused by the glaciation and the glacier retreat. What was it, 12,500 years ago? When the glaciers were withdrawing and they were chewing up the ground. But for this stuff here is a harder rock than what was in between. So you'd have like granites and stuff like that in here, and then you'd have limestone or sandstone in here, and it would be ground away, leaving the harder rock. It's pretty cool. You can see the drag marks all the way up, and the Blue Ridge Parkway runs down one of these lines, so you're actually riding down the ridge here. Like right here, you can see there's kind of a road along the top of the ridge. There's the trails leading down off into the towns and stuff. Really cool. Beautiful spot to ride through. So we've got a bit to go, 100 miles roughly. 219 knots. So 25 minutes. Got some nice clouds we're going through. Nothing too major. Not like when we came into Richmond yesterday. We caught the end of that storm. That was fun. Rained again overnight here. I could tell when I went out this morning with Molly. Little airport down there. Is the Ingalls Airport in Hot Springs, Virginia. There's some nice lakes down there. Yeah, very cool. All right. We're up to 222 knots. Yeah, we had a line that went almost, well, it went all the way down to Florida and all the way up through us, so it's a good 2,500 kilometers. 1,800 miles, 2,000 miles or so. And we had some heavy rains. I mean, it was coming down, that was for sure. That was the day before yesterday, and then last night overnight we had a little bit more rain. Haven't had a really good heavy lightning thunderstorm yet this year. But we're not into our convection period. That'll come more towards end of July into August when we get the big heat-driven convection storms, and that's where we see them. Still haven't come up to that main ridge line. That's still further ahead, but we're coming down through the mountains. This is also the area where you get the famous or infamous tail of the dragon. It's I want to look at this up because I want to get this right. So it's in North Carolina. It's U.S. Highway. What is it? U.S. Highway 129. It's 11 miles long, and it runs up into these hills further south where the Dragon is. There's 318 curves in 11 miles. You really don't have a straight bit of road anywhere in there. 318 curves, 11 miles through the mountains. And I rode it on my old bike. It was interesting. But a lot of people go down there and ride beyond their skill level. And you go through those simple little guardrails, which are nothing more than like a bit of wood. It can be up to 50, 100, 150 foot drop on the other side. So there are bikes smashed up all over the place. There's a big tree out front of the place on the start on the eastern side that has motorcycle parts nailed to it from bikes that have gone over. And some of the people don't survive because they go way too fast. And of course, the other problem you have is people not staying in their lanes. So you go around a corner and somebody's in your lane, and it's an open highway. So people are driving their car and they're going too fast and they drift into your lane, and you're coming on a bike around the corner and they're right in your lane. What the hell are you going to do? The other problem, Kevin, this is an interesting one, is shipping companies have I don't know if they've finally resolved the problem, but they've routed tractor trailers through there. And you can't get the tractor trailers through some of these corners. They're too tight, and there's, like on the inside of the bend, it's mountain that goes up and it's a drop off on the other side, and you can't get a 40-foot trailer with a tractor unit around that corner. It's too tight, and they get wedged in there. And that's because they were using routing software early on when the GPSs were becoming big with trucking companies. And because it's not some, Joe's Road or back road or county road, it's an actual U.S. highway, recognized U.S. highway. The system thought it was okay, and they'd route trucks through there. And you had drivers coming in. If you come in from the west, you know that would be an issue because you got to wind your way up the hills to get up there. Or from the east. But if you come in from the west, it's a straight line road that rises out of the flat and into the mountains, and then it starts getting all twisty. And if you get that far in, it almost becomes too late at that point. And that's the way a lot of them had come. They were being routed through there. So you'd either come around a corner and there's this tractor trailer trying to do the same thing, or else it's just blocking everything. And a real pain, but I don't think I would ride it again if I was down there. There's another one. It's nicknamed the Cherry Cola Highway. Its actual name is the Cherohala Skyway. It's a nicer ride and it's not as crowded and stuff. And if you just go down into Georgia, northern Georgia, they got some lovely roads there as well. But everyone wants to do the Dragon. I can say I've done it, but yeah, definitely won't be doing that one again. Especially on my bigger bike now. No. Well, the problem, it's a problem in Canada as well as in the States. They don't have enough rail lines going to all these places. So they do ship a lot of it into the main hubs, where they break down the trains and they send it out from there, but there's a lot that has to go by truck because they just don't have the rail capacity. I mean, you thought the beaching report and all that stuff that ripped out all the rail in Britain was bad. It was just never built in a lot of places, so There's main freight lines that run across the U.S. And there's the one in Canada, east to west. But they, once you get off of that, it becomes very limited, and everything's got to go by truck. Although what I didn't know was that a lot of the corn from the U.S. northern prairies and Western Canada is shipped by barge out of the Western prairies through the mountains down to the sea, where it's then loaded into ships. So they actually use a river to transport it. With they said there was 11 locks on it to get it down 780 feet of elevation difference. So we got a little bit of more denser cloud. Let's see if there's a weather update. No, still 47 minutes. Still just saying broken cloud at 7,000. I think we're getting a little bit more than that now. We'll see if that updates in about 10 minutes. Alright, so we're over the highest point now on the hills here. You can see looking down. Okay, very nice. I'm going to switch over radio, and we'll just monitor Indianapolis for a minute.
Attention all aircraft, and be sent back with you. Let's start slowly, please. Checking in if you need something.
Indy Procure 3587, short 29, ready to go.
Procure 3587, wind 310 out 15, just 21, runway 29, clear for takeoff.
29 clear for takeoff, Procure 3587.
9 Delta Fox.
Not so much in Canada. It would have just been because there wasn't a lot north of the border, right? Like 80% of our population lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border on that strip there. So we just have the rails running east and west.
Be here at the gate. Thanks for coverage today. Have a good one.
There's a little bit that goes up to places like Edmonton and Calgary, but we're not bad. It's the U.S. that.
Yes, you did help as well. Everyone gets a sticker.
They don't have a lot of
love you.
The major rail lines to deal. I'm getting distracted by the ATC. They don't have a lot of the major rail lines to deal with a lot of that stuff out there, so it's just not there. And they've had a lot of rail lines closed in the States as well, which is why they don't have the rail infrastructure like you have in Europe, right? Like the newest rail going in is the Brightline stuff. And they're talking about a higher speed rail from
and 15 Charlie Mike,
I think Los Angeles to Las Vegas. They want to do that. But the Brightline in Florida is the newest rail. That's in their Amtrak, which is their public rail. But it's horrendous.
2992, thank you. Or 915 Charlie Mike.
Oh, there he is. He just dinged me. I was just getting ready to call him. Indianapolis Center, good afternoon. Allegheny 32 with you, 12,000 feet.
Allegheny 32, Indy Center, roger, ident.
Okay. Let's use that button to ident.
Allegheny 32, Indy Center, radar contact, let's see. 43 miles east of Charleston Yeager Airport at 12,000. Charleston altimeter 29902, descend and maintain 6,000, and stay approach clip.
Roger, descending for 6,000, and you got cut off, but I think you were asking attentions. We're looking for the ILS for 23.
Roger, put the ILS for 23 and Charleston Yeager altimeter 29902.
Roger, 29902, and we'll set up for the ILS 23 for Charleston, Allegheny 32. All right, down we go.
Indy Center, Procure 3587, passing 2800.
pull the
Okay,
engines.
3587 in the regular contact, climb maintain full 35.
Start heading down now.
Maintain 350, Brickyard 3587.
Gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt.
5 Charlie Mike, do you have an approach request?
Try to get that 1,000 in. There we go.
November 915 Charlie Mike, do you have an approach request?
Seatbelt signs
Say
are
again
in.
for 915 Charlie Mike.
Do you have an approach request?
Passenger the cabin.
All right, ILS
On negative.
423 is
Roger, expect vectors for the visual.
110.3.
Visual 31 left, you said?
28 left.
Alright, expect
Alright,
visual
that's
28
in.
left on 915 Charlie Mike.
And I'm going to stick with the heading mode now. You should be giving us vectors, and we're going to set in 235 here. Is set. Minimums are going to be 250 feet. That is set. Missed approach, we're going to climb to 3,000 out to the HVQ VOR, which we've got set up in nav2. So we will be good there. So we're just going to fly. Heading out, we'll switch over to the ILS now. And we're just going to maintain the heading and tracking, which we can look over here on nav2 and see it there. Alright, so 180 knots coming up to down to 6,000 feet, landing lights on. We've got the seatbelt signs on. There's 10,000 feet. We'll ding them in the back, and all our lights are on in there. So we're set up for the ILS. Good to go. Well, they have been reopening a couple, haven't they? I know over in the UK there's been a couple lines and stations that have reopened, or new ones that have been built. I thought there were some that were coming back. I think the big problem we have right now is corruption in government. I mean, I'll give you an example. Let me just look up the dates. So in Toronto, they came up with the idea to put a light rail line in on a major east-west road in Toronto as part of, moving the rail, blah, 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 blah. They began construction in 2011. The entire thing was to be completed in 2020. It is so far over budget that it's ridiculous. It's now 4.5 years late opening. It still hasn't opened. Even part of it hasn't opened.
I'll get a 3-2 turn right heading 310, heading to final.
Right turn heading 310 for Allegheny 32. So it's 4.5 years over date. It's way over budget. They haven't even opened a section of it. They keep putting up signs saying that they're testing the trains on it, but they've only been seen once or twice. They're saying they have software issues. They've blown through their opening dates like 5 times. Now they say we don't know when it's going to open. It's
59 Delta Foxtrot, that's going to maintain.
absolutely ridiculous.
340 and Mendes Fox.
And that was right after they did another one where they did a whole rebuild on a street in the central west part of the town, and it ran so far over time that it drove 60% of the businesses out of business because nobody could get to the businesses, and
Breaker 3587 and then altitude climb maintain total 2 entered.
when they finally finished it, 3 weeks after they finished it and reopened and had all the
again for,
equipment out and it was all cleaned up, the construction
Alright,
guys came
altitude,
back in and
maintain
started
2
ripping it up
weeks,
again,
0,
saying
3583.
that they had to do pipe work on it
And
for
that's going to be your
the
final.
water pipes. And it's like,
Chicago's, yeah, you guys got a
are you kidding me?
Get across you guys at 28.
and once again, businesses were being forced with people
Alright,
not being able to get
make
to them.
280
and-
our final then,
Just
Brigade
horrendous.
3587.
So I don't think, you know, you can trust government. You can come in and say, we're going to build a rail line
Allegheny
between
32 to set maintain 4,000.
descend and maintain 4,000, Allegheny 32. You can, you know, go on about, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but there's no trust in the government now. And then they just came out
UPS 2417
last year, and they're putting in a new subway extension, and they've closed a couple main east-west streets in the city, in the downtown core, like completely closed. And they've come out and said that they're going to be closed for 4 years. But everyone's laughing at them, saying, are you kidding? They're going to be closed for 10. You've just destroyed the downtown core of the city. So, what can you do? You get frustrated with them. Anyway, we're going to pay attention here as we're getting down. We're descending down to 4,000 feet. Our speed's still good at about 180 knots. We're inbound. We have the ILS tuned in on 110.3 and 235 in the tracker, or for the localizer. Coming up to 4,000 feet, capture. We're coming down over the mountains here. All right, so the airport's off over here in this direction. 700 feet to go. Leveling off, bring up the power, keep that speed up.
Silence.
And there's the ILS kicking in. We're 24 miles out from the airport, and it's off in this direction here. So let's get ourselves ready.
Still silence.
Cabin pressure is good. Engine bleeds are all on low. Auxiliary fuel pumps coming on, 1 through 4. Passenger signs are good. We'll give them a last ding. Taxi light now coming on. Landing lights are on. Altimeter is confirmed. Set 299 or 2. Engine intake deflectors are closed.
32 direct Kama, cross Kama at or above 3,000 to the ILS 22-3 approach.
We're no GPS, VOR navigation only. Can we get vectors, please?
Allegheny 32, just as I said that, I realized. Roger, present heading, and I'll let you get more localizer.
Roger, we'll maintain present heading, Allegheny 32.
And cancel that first points, obviously.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, they push on these alternate modes of transportation. They want this, they want that, but they're closing lines, which is not a good thing, so. Anyway.
Allegheny 32, descend to maintain 3,000.
Descend to maintain 3,000, Allegheny 32. Alright, down we go. Set the arm. Alright, we'll bring the power back. Make sure we don't get going too fast. Too steep. Well, here where I am, they're building a LRT up the main road from basically down by the lake all the way up into the town, the city above us, which is quite far because we're kind of a big spread out area here. And it's not going too bad. I mean, they spent a year and a half doing all the bed work and foundation work. They're now into rail laying, so it's coming along. It looks like that one's not going to be too bad with how they're doing it and the disruptions and the speed at which they're doing it. Not sure about costing and everything like that, if it's on budget and stuff, but it's doing good. We're down pretty low. We can see the individual trees here. 15 miles out. Alright, we're gonna let the speed slowly start to ease back. 160 or 165. We're gonna have a bit of a crosswind, given the winds and everything. It looks like we're gonna be a 5 knot.
19 Lima. Contact
Right-hand crosswind.
132.97 today.
We're down to 170. Leveling off.
I'm sorry, please say that again for 190.
November 1219 Lima, contact Atlanta Center 132.97.
132.97, 190, thanks. We'll be
Alright, so Charleston is off in this direction, the town. There's the, I think that's the airport out there, not sure. But we're getting close. We're only 13 miles out. Speed's 170.
9 Delta Foxtrot, descend and maintain 17,000, the Columbus altimeter 29902.
1717,000, 9 Delta Fox.
Alright, engines are going maximum RPM. And we're good. So, final ding for the cabin. Speed's coming down to 160. We'll try to maintain that between 160 and 170.
Allegheny 32, turn right 5 degrees for wind correction.
Roger, turning right, was it 5 degrees?
For wind correction.
For wind correction. Roger, right turn for Allegheny 32. He wants me to line up for a good intercept.
Allegheny 32, you're 4 miles, you're still heading 255. Maintain 2,600 till established and all flags are cleared ILS for my 2-2 approach.
Roger, turn right to heading 255, descending down to 2,400, clear for the ILS 23 approach. Capture. There's the airport right there. There's capture. Glide slope's coming in. Approach mode is armed. Start bringing that speed back. We're 7 miles, flaps 15.
Allegheny 32, the wind 260 right now, investing 15, runway 23, clear line.
Clear to land runway 23, Allegheny 32. Glide slope's coming in. We're on the capture. Alright, gear down. Flaps 25. Throttle's full. Gear down 3 green. See how she does capturing. We're gonna take over at 500 feet anyway. We're on the glide slope. It's 1,000 feet. Flaps full. 45 degrees. Gear down 3 green. Lights are on. Cabin is notified.
November 915, Charlie Mike, turn right heading 035, vectors for the visual. Descend and maintain 4,000, pilot discretion.
110 knots. Gonna give that 5
075
knot
vectors
right
for the visual,
crosswind.
descend maintain 5,000 or 9 for Charlie Mike.
Hey, Robert.
4,000, heading 075.
4,000, correction, 915 Charlie Mike.
And heading 075.
075 right now, 915 Charlie Mike.
Alright, it's going to be a right-hand turn-off. We'll see where we end up getting off. Maybe at Alpha 2. Speed coming back.
Indianapolis Center, good afternoon. Southwest 1310 is with you. Flight level 300, approximately about 74 miles to the east of Charleston.
Southwest 1310,
There we go. I have control. Let's get ourselves over here. We're severely drifting.
And 9 Delta Foxtrot, Cleveland Center, Delta line, orders just terminated for BCG for every day.
Getting winds like crazy.
Peace out. Richard 3587, Chicago Center, Delta line, orders just terminated for BCG for every day.
Yeah, those winds are bouncing us around here.
Pacific 1192, Kansas City Center, Delta line, orders just terminated for BCG for every day.
1192, switching takes for you. Good day.
There's a bit of a crab going.
Good day.
Alright, let's get the rudder in. Well, we're down. There we go. Good manual brakes. And we are off. Oh, looks like another aircraft over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to West Virginia. The local time is 5:03 p.m. and it's currently about 77
There's the terminal
degrees
down at the far
Fahrenheit.
end.
You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come.
Oh, that was a bumpy, windy, turbulent approach and landing. Definitely wasn't stable and should have gone around, but
We thank you for flying
wasn't going to
with us.
bother. Indianapolis Center, Allegheny 32 is clear, runway 23 at Alpha 2. Right, flaps up. I'll go across.
Allegheny 32, parking straight ahead, and my microphone.
Roger, we'll taxi off to the apron, Allegheny 32. Thanks for the ATC.
Yeah, no problem. Are you going to the south side? If you're going to the south side, I'll give you taxi signs, but I thought you were pulling in there for some reason.
No, we can go down on the south side, down to the terminal, I guess Alpha, and onto the apron.
Alright, 32, taxi Alpha, Mike 52.
Roger, taxi Alpha for Allegheny 32. Alright, emergency brakes are, control lock is on. 2 and 3 condition levers coming back to feather. Flaps are up. Collision light will go to, ooh, that's not the one I want. Collision light will go to red. Landing lights are off. Strobe light is off. Engine intake deflectors are closed. Engine heat is off. Pedostatics are off. Spoiler flight taxi switch to taxi yaw damper off. Weather radar is in op. Transponder will stay on until we are parked. Alright, let's get in and wrap up this series. A little TWA commuter jet type of thing sitting there. Wonder what he is. Let's look him up. Huh? No, can't be.
Indy Center, hello November 21.
Says that's an A320.
To Philadelphia.
Neo, actually. I don't think so.
21 Charlie, where you located?
That ramp where he's sitting is actually the restricted area. It's the West Virginia Air National Guard.
November 21 Charlie, you're located in Philadelphia and you're looking for clearance with Indianapolis Center.
But we're going to go over here to the gates. Let's see what they will give me for parking.
I'm looking for airport to Philadelphia. I didn't read you very well.
Where are you located? What airport?
Anything? Anything?
Charleston,
Nope.
Charlie Romeo Whiskey.
Okay, 21 Charlie, stand by clearance for request.
Let's try one more time. GSX says, I don't want to play. Alright, so we are going into here. Gate Alpha 4. And there we go. So parking brake is on. Taxi light is off. Power levers are at flight idle. Engines 1 and 4 will come back to feather. Weather radar is in up. DMEs are now off. Engines 2 and 3 shut down. Engine bleeds 1 through 4 are off. Engines 1 and 4 shut down. Alright, anti-collision light is off. Position lights will stay on. Passenger signs come up. External power is now connected. AC generators are all off. Batteries will stay on, master will stay on, anti-skid is off. We'll come to the back. And there we go. So here we are in West Virginia, the last state and the end of the 50th flight of the series. That does it for this one. I'm taking tomorrow off as we prep for the next series. We will be back on Friday. We are doing a tour of the Great Lakes. We're going to circle all the lakes and see what we can see. We start this Friday at Mackinac Island, and we will be. I will be flying the CH-47D helicopter. It's going to be a multiplayer server series, so the Northern European server, you can come along and join in. And we'll be starting at 1930 hours local time, local weather. We'll see how that turns out. But you're more than welcome to come along. Anything that flies around 150 knots will be good. Take care. Thanks for coming along. We'll see you on the next one.